Okay, so good morning and welcome. So today we will need a strap and a block or two. And let's start lying on that block. We'll do the old block under the shoulders, my favorite one. You can have the legs straight or in Baddha Konasana. Or if you really feel that you would rather have a different opening block under the sacrum or maybe just lying flat on the floor, you can go ahead and do that. So let's get started. Let me get my number 2 block. And then we also have a strap, but we don't need it quite yet. And let's make our way onto our mat, onto the block, or if you're Baddha Konasana in, maybe taking a few moments in the sitting Baddha Konasana, getting those hip joints a little warmed up. All right. And then letting your body settle in. So we're already starting to direct and control our focus by really feeling our body, finding comfortable position here, but one with enough stretch and opening for what you feel you need or want at this moment. And then we take that focus a little further inside to the breath. The place between the physical body and the subtle body. Inhaling and exhaling, letting the breath refine the details of your pose or shape here. Letting that breath refine your focus. Letting go a little bit more of all those thoughts swarming around in your head, all those feelings. And becoming more present in this moment in your body with your breath. Maybe stretching the arms overhead or out to the side if you haven't been doing so already. And we'll take a few more breaths here. And then as gently as you can, making your way up to sitting. All right. And let's put the blocks and belt up near the front of the mat. And we'll sit in Sukhasana with the crossed legs. Sweet. And using those arms alongside, lifting up, getting a little more space between the vertebrae. A little more space in the hip joints. And then slowly release with the arms, letting the hands rest on the knees. Inhale and exhale, closing your eyes or softening the gaze. And then really feeling your body in this position. Balancing evenly on the right and the left sitting bones, wide across the upper chest, but also wide across the upper back. Enough strength in the core for enough length in the spine, but not so much that it impedes your breath or feels like a strain. Using your muscles to align the bones rather than to hold yourself up. And let's reach out wide through the collarbones to the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. Inhale and exhale, breathing them down. And let's do that 3 more times, taking up lots of space. And then bringing the hands together in Namaste in the center. Once again, closing or softening the eyes. A little deeper into this moment. And we'll take one Om together, starting with a deep and easeful inhale. And letting the head bow forward. Release the hands, putting the backs of the hands on the knees. And slowly lift the head and open the eyes. And then let's change the cross of the legs. And we'll take a twist to the right. Inhale, making lots of space. Exhale and twist. And back to the center, twisting left. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to the center. Let's come forward and over. Breathing into the back of the body. Maybe some squinging here as well if needed. And then coming up, unfurling the spine vertebrae by vertebrae back up on top of the sitting bones. Inhale and exhale. And let's slide our legs straight out in front. And we will get the belt. And belt around the feet. Remember, working with your body as it is at this moment, especially when you use the belt, there can be a temptation to work a little harder than we should and to really yank on the belt. So try not to do that, letting your body and your breath be the guide for how much you should pull on the belt. All right, so let's start thinking of a right angle. Trying to have a very long and spacious spine, pressing the backs of the legs down. And then easing yourself forward. And just notice how that's feeling. Maybe you need more space here, so stay at this point and keep breathing. Or maybe you can go a little deeper. So just keep easing yourself deeper. Might not mean deeper in space. Your forehead might not be getting closer to your shins, but you might feel a little more spacious inside. The face might relax a little. The backs of the legs might expand against the floor more easily. And then coming up. And putting that belt back near the front of the mat. And let's expand ourselves into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Even more space in the back of the legs. Walking the dog or anything else you want to do here. And then finishing with your dog walking, being in the best downward facing dog of this moment. So we're going to go through the vinyasa, any version. So just so You know, one version could be coming down and taking the Sphinx and then coming back up to downward facing dog. That could be a version, or maybe you're going to do the 3 fast vinyasa version. If you're coming along with me, we're doing the usual kind of slow, medium, slow vinyasa version as we lengthen out to the plank. And starting into chaturanga, the knees touch down, lowering more, swooping up in upward facing dog, taking a couple breaths here in upward facing dog, pulling the collarbones wide. Maybe your upward facing dog still has knees down. And then back up in downward facing dog, taking a deep breath, coming down, sitting back in child's pose. And then coming up, unfurling the spine and bringing the legs right in next to each other if you can in simplified Virasana. Or something different if this doesn't work for your knees or the ankles. You can also do the toes tucked under, which can be a little less strain on the knee joint and the top of the feet. And then here we are, long through the top of the head, and let's ripple, lifting the upper chest up, reaching forward, contract and rolling up and back. And we'll do that 3 or 4 more times. And then we'll finish with that. We'll do a little reverse ripple. We come up onto our knees, diving the head forward and down, and then coming up onto your knees, bringing the arms up overhead, short Tadasana. So we're going to Ustrasana, the camel pose. So doing the Ustrasana that's available at this moment, a little front body yawn, bringing the arms around, hands at the sacrum with the fingertips going down. Lifting up and over, squeeze the elbows toward each other. And then like we did with the belt around the feet, deepen a little, see how things are feeling. Can you still breathe? Remember not to just let the head hang back. Make the head part of the deliberate line of the spine, pulling the shoulder blades down away from the ears, keeping the sides of the neck long. One more breath here. And then coming up, big lift through the top of the head. Bring the arms back up overhead. The abdominal muscles against the spine to give that lower back a little lengthen out. And then descending back down onto our heels. Inhale and exhale, arriving this moment. And expanding back up to downward facing dog. And going through the vinyasa or not. And there we all are once again, downward facing dog. And let's lift our right leg up. Big stretch between both legs. Bending the right knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And then through to the lunge. And we'll bring the left knee down and Jayasana, the kneeling lunge. Inhaling up the front, exhale, pouring down the back. And then circling those arms all the way around and back up overhead. And then keeping the left arm there, let's just take the right arm back and see if the right hand can find the back of the left thigh, or maybe using the half binding. And a little swirl around. And we'll bring the right hand back up to meet the left. Namaste, strong into the center. And then let's step forward into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Deep breath. Coming up to standing, big front body. And arms down, long sides down, top of the head going up. And then reaching the arms out wide to the side. We're going to equal pose the arms, bringing the right arm under, wrapping those arms around or holding the shoulders. And into the chair pose, still with the eagle arms, pulling the hips back, a little reach forward through the elbows. Keeping that good tension going, the reach forward and up, the reach down and back. And then we'll spring up, untwining the arms, and a big dive forward and over. Concave back, folding over, jumping or stepping back, vinyasa, downward facing dog. And then we'll go on the left. And lifting the left leg up. And then bending the knee, dog at the high fire hydrants. Through to the lunge. And we'll bring the right knee down and Jayasana, kneeling lunge. And then circling both arms around and back up overhead. And taking just the left arm around to the right back of the thigh, or maybe the half binding, if that works better for your body. So that we have a little swirl around, a little side bendy, a little twisty left. And bringing the left hand back up to meet the right. Namaste in front. And stepping forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over. Deep breath. Coming up to standing, big front body. Long sides down, center line going up. Namaste, steadiness. And then reaching those arms out wide to the side. The left arm will cross under in the eagle pose or holding the shoulders. And then into the chair pose, pulling back, reaching forward. And so when we arrive at our chair pose, we don't just kind of go dull, that reach continues. One more deep breath here. And then springing up, untwine the arms, and diving forward. Concave back, folding over, and back to downward facing dog. Through the vinyasa. All right, let's lift our right leg up again. And bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. And then we'll come up in the warrior number 1. Bridge posing in the pelvis, up and over in the upper body. And then we'll do the swirl. Left arm stays where it is, right arm comes around, reaching down the back of the left leg, or maybe wrapping in the half binding. A little twisty side bendiness to the right. Make sure you're not losing the lunge. Press the tailbone a little down and forward. Pull forward through the inner thigh. And bringing the right hand back up to meet the left. Namaste, strong into the center. Namaste into the floor. Let's turn to the elephant rider, feet on the diagonal, pressing those knees out. And then we'll bring the hands up on top of the thighs with the fingertips going down onto the inner knees. I like the giant bug cobra arms with the elbows sticking up, and we'll twist. Twisting to the right, dipping that left shoulder down. Twisting to the left, dipping the right shoulder down. And we'll go back and forth like that, 3 or 4 sets. Going on your own timing. Whoop. Don't do that. That was called me almost losing my balance. And then we will finish with this. Back in the center. And then turn into our right lunge once again. And we're going to move our right foot a little over to the left and come into Matsyendrasana, bringing that left knee under. Standing on the sitting bones, and we'll take a twist to the right. Inhale, lots of space. Exhale and twist. And coming back to the center, let's disentangle our legs. Coming up onto our feet. Expanding into the forward bend. Deep breath. And then concave back. Folding over. Through the vinyasa, back to downward facing dog. All right, let's lift our left leg up. And then bending the left leg, dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. Warrior number one on the left. Elbow going a little down and forward. Same time reaching down and back through the right leg. And then we'll keep the right arm where it is and take the left arm back to the right leg or maybe the half binding. Give a little pull so you go a little off center, not too far off center. Don't want to fall over. And swirling around. And see what's your lunge doing. Deepen that maybe. And then we'll bring the left hand up to meet the right. Namaste into the center and into the floor. Walking your left foot a little to the right, bringing that right leg under, Matsyendrasana. Long through the top of the head, and we'll twist to the left. Inhale and exhale. And back to the center. Disentangling the legs, coming up onto our feet, standing into the forward. Taking a breath. Or two. And then concave back, folding over. Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And then once we're there, we'll hold our downward facing dog for 3 breaths or so, and then go to child's pose. And then coming down, sitting back in child's pose. Coming up, unfurling the spine up to simplify the Virasana again. Finding your version of that for this moment. And we will once again ripple and lifting up the chest, reaching forward and over, rolling. And doing that 3 or 4 more times. Oh, I realized we forgot the elephant rider on the left side. That's all right. We don't really need to have it there. All right, and then we will reverse ripple ourselves up onto our knees again, dropping the chin down, diving forward, coming up, arms up short to Dasana. Lift up lots of space and into Ustrasana, the camel pose. Breathing yourself there. Not letting your ego push harder than you should. or make judgments. And then we'll come back up. And sitting back onto the heels. Inhale and exhale. And let's expand ourselves back up into downward facing dog. So you could vinyasa here or not. I'm going to do the or not because we're going to also have the option to waterfall to the wild thing. So just being mindful of how your wrists and shoulders are. And let's lift our right leg up. Big stretch between both legs. Bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. Maybe waterfall into the wild thing if you want. Or holding that fire hydrant dog. Feeling that pull from the right foot. A resistance from the left leg. And then waterfall dogs coming back. And through to the lunge. And then we'll step forward with our left leg and taking our left leg through, sitting down. So the right leg is bent and the left leg is straight. And let's get our belt. And we'll put the belt around the right foot and extending the right leg up, pressing the left leg down into the floor, reaching through the heels, reaching to the top of the head. And then rolling slowly down, shoulder blades anchored in the back, legs pressing away for some resistance, pulling the abdominal muscles into the spine. And then we ease our way onto the floor. So we're going to roll up and down 4 more times, or you could just hold here and stretch if you would rather. So if we're coming up, we're pressing that right leg away, shoulder blades in the back, pulling the abdominal muscles back into the spine. Somewhat counterintuitively, you pull back to come up and forward, and then coming down. And 3 more times or so. You can always pick the number you want. Keep reaching through the left leg. That left leg reaching and pressing into the floor actually helps you. And then we'll all be down on the floor, having a nice stretch in Padagusukta, Padagustasana number 1. And then belt into the right hand, and we'll bring the leg out to the diagonal side. Padagustasana number 2. Getting your body settled, feeling your breath. Letting the breath refine the alignment of your physical body. And bring that right leg up, passing off to the left hand, right arm out to the side from the shoulder, bring the right leg across to the left. Supta Gustasana number 3. And then bring that right leg up to the center. And we'll roll ourselves back up. Pressing that right leg into the belt. Coming up. Setting the right leg down, setting the belt aside. Let's bend both legs coming into Baddha Konasana. Holding on to the ankles or shins, lifting up, coming forward, pressing down and out with the elbows. Maybe noticing the difference between your right and left legs, or perhaps noticing they don't feel that difference. It's not always a big difference, even though we've stretched that right leg out a lot more in a lot different ways already. And up, bringing the legs in, and we'll make our way up into the forward bend. And then we'll through the vinyasa or not, downward facing dog to go around with that on the other side. So here we are in the forward bend. And concave backs will stretch out, folding over. And through the vinyasa or not, downward facing dog. Okay, and then we will lift the left leg up. And bending the knee dog at the high fire hydrant. So either staying here and doing a big three-legged dog stretch, or maybe continuing over waterfall into the wild thing. And then making your way back if you wild things. And lifting the left leg through to the lunge. And stepping forward with the right leg comes through. And we sit down with the left leg bent, right leg straight. And getting the belt. And belt around the left foot. Keep talking to this down back right corner today for some reason. And then extending the left leg up. Reaching through the legs, reaching through the top of the head. And then we will roll ourselves down to the floor. Remember, our object is not to get to the floor. Well, maybe it secretly is, but feeling your way there, trying to feel what's working or what's maybe not. Counterbalancing with your right leg and the left leg pressing away. And then there we are, unfurled against the floor. So you can stay here and have a longer stretch, or we'll do that up and down 4 more times or any number of times. All right, pressing into that left leg, shoulder blades in the back, pull the abdominal muscles back into the spine. And then coming down, we're actually doing all the same actions, though it feels a little different, works the muscles differently when we go in the other direction. Noticing what your breath is doing. Most importantly, make sure you're still breathing. And then we'll finish up with this rolling. And there we are on the floor, Supta Padangusthasana number 1. Still reaching through the legs though. And then belt into the left hand, bringing that left leg out to the diagonal side. Supta Padangusthasana number 2. Letting your breath bring you deeper into the shape, refining your focus, your alignments. And then we'll bring that left leg up to the center. Belt into the right hand, left arm out to the side, taking that left leg across to the right. Padangusthasana number 3. And then we'll bring that left leg back up to the center. And rolling ourselves up, pressing through that left leg. Bring the left leg down. And let's Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees out to the side. And coming up and out and over. And coming up. So we are, as so often happens, where I'm at that right corner. This is my props are there. We're running out of time, but I'm just going to keep going and leave it to you to do Shavasana at the end on your own. So we will keep going with our doing, and then coming up onto our feet and expanding into the forward bend. Inhale and exhale. Breathing here. Evening out our right and left sides. And then concave back. Folding over, stepping back with the left leg into the lunge. And we'll bring the left knee down and come into the pigeon, walking the right foot across, right knee a little to the right. Maybe sitting on the block or whatever else you have available if needed. Inhale and exhale. Big lift up the front of the body, doing that cobra action for a few breaths. And then coming forward and over, sleeping pigeon. Finding your effort and ease balance here. Maybe you're going for a total surrender there into the floor, into gravity. Maybe you're engaging a little more actively with your body. Maybe you're putting in a little bit of effort to support yourself and keep your joints safe. And whatever that balance is, we can surrender into that balance. So relaxing doesn't necessarily have to mean getting all floppy and noodly. Relaxing is sometimes just accepting what is and being prepared to do what is needed and let go of what you don't need in that moment. And then coming up, I'm going to reach through the left leg, turning to the half dragonfly. You can always straighten that right leg out if the knee needs to be extended after that pigeon. And then here we are, one long leg, one short leg. And we'll come forward between the two legs, half dragonfly forward back. And coming up. Let's take a twist to the right toward the short bent leg. Left hand onto the left leg. Parivrtta Janu Shirsasana. Nice big spacious side bend. And we'll pull down with the right arm, turning to face that left leg. And we'll take a few breaths coming forward over the left. And then coming up, bringing that left leg around. And we'll expand into the forward bend again. So you can do it standing on the feet, or you could straighten the legs out. But no, actually, we have to do it standing because we're stepping back. Never mind. Oh. Breathing here. And then stepping back with the right leg and coming into the pigeon on the left, bringing the right knee down, walking the left foot across, using what support you need, and doing that cobra action for a few breaths. And then coming forward and over, sleeping pigeon. Finding that balance of effort and ease, that's the most easeful. No. And we will reach through that right leg, turn into the half dragonfly, or maybe to Konasana. Coming forward between both legs. And coming up. And let's twist to the left. Inhale and exhale, twisting. And right hand onto the right leg. Ardha Shirasana, reaching out and up and over. Big spacious side bend. And then pulling down with the left arm, turning to face that right leg. Inhale and exhale, pouring out over the right. And coming up. And let's bring that right leg around. So now we have all the options. You can come up into the standing forward bend for those who are needing to get back out into the world and the rest of the day. You can come to the sitting forward bend for the in-between, or you can come down into Shavasana for the you've got 5 or 10 more minutes available. All right, if you're coming with me, we're in the forward bend. Standing forward bend. That's for those who don't want to make decisions as well. And wherever we are, breathing ourselves into wherever we are. And coming up to standing, or maybe coming up to sitting. Big front body yawn, or stretch up with the arms. Pressing the arms down. And namaste. Thank you for coming. Well, sometimes it's good to end a little unusually. So, but hopefully you are choosing the ending you need.